In this video we are going to talk about the solution for chicken and enclosure problem. Actually, as per the problem statement, there is a poultry farm and there are 3 enclosures, and there are odd number of chicken in the farm, and each enclosure can contain odd number of chicken only. And when you look at the relationship between the enclosures, the second enclosure is larger than the first enclosure and the third enclosure is larger than the second enclosure. So obviously the smallest one is the first one is smaller than second one, is smaller than the third one, right? And given the total number of chicken in the poultry farm and the minimum number of chicken that can be put in the first enclosure, write a code to print all possible ways, right? This is the question. So when you look at the constraints of the problem, the first constraint that is mentioned in the problem is odd number of chicken in the farm itself, right? And the second one that is mentioned is odd number of chicken in each of the enclosure, and it is limited, only 3 enclosures are there, that is not a variable, okay? And the third one that is given us, there is a relationship between the enclosures. The first one is lesser than the capacity is less than second one is less than the third one, and also we will be given the number of chicken that can be put in the first enclosure, right? So when you look at like this, so if the number of chicken totally in the farm is 27 and the minimum number of chicken that can be put is 3, okay? So you have to start with 3 in the first enclosure, you have to put 3 chicken, right? Next is odd number, okay, and it should be greater. In the second enclosure, it should be an odd number and it should be greater than 3. So the first possible value is 5. And but you can note that there is no limitation on the number of chicken that can be put. Maximum limit is not given, okay. So next one can have 5 chicken, and when you look at the third one, obviously what we can notice, these two are odd, okay, and as per the problem, total number of chicken is also odd. When you add 2 odd numbers, you will get an even number, and when you subtract it from the total number, that is also odd number, you will once again get only a odd number, right? Okay, so 19. So I can directly subtract 20 minus 8. I can find it 19. I am just saying how I can manually do it, okay? And then 3, I am trying the next value 7. So then remaining will be 17 I will put, and 3, and then 9, and then 15. Like this I will be working out. And look at that, where it is 7, I can put 9 and then 11, that's all. I cannot next try 7, 11. When I try 7, 11, what happens is 18 chicken will be placed. Totally there are only 27. And then in the third enclosure, I have to put 9 chicken, which violates the constraint that the number of chicken in the third enclosure should be greater than the first and the second. So this possible combination is not there, okay. So we can observe that all the possible combinations are not allowed. That is, I am not allowed to do like 7 and then 11, 9 or 7, 13, 7. That is not allowed because the constraints of the problem says that this relationship should be maintained. So you can also see that one more condition is given in the problem. If the end chicken cannot be kept in the enclosures, okay, as per the condition given in the problem. For example, if totally there are 11 chicken, and if you say that the minimum number of chicken to be kept in the first enclosure is 3, in that case 3, 5 will come, and the third enclosure can have only left out is 3. This is not possible, right? Okay, that is what is mentioned in the problem. And also we should be very, very careful when we are solving on the online judge about the input format and the output format. So the input format, you can read that the first line contains the number of chicken in the poultry farm, right? Next line contains the minimum number of chicken that can be placed in the first enclosure. And the output format also says print all the possible ways of placing the chicken. And also you should print it in one line. Some details are given. It should be in the ascending order of enclosure 1, and then if it is same, then it should be in the ascending order of the enclosure 2. So I followed 2 approaches to solve the problem. This is the first approach. So I read the total number of chicken in the farm and then minimum number of chicken that can be put inside the enclosure. And I am counting the possibilities because the problem says that if there is no possibility at all, then I have to print no way, right? So I am just maintaining the number of possibilities initialized to 0 now. And then what I am doing is, I am going to try the values. I am going to have 3, it's a nested for loop. I am going to have, I am going to try the possible values. So in the first chamber, what can be the minimum value is the minimum chick first given, that should be the minimum value. And how far I can go, I cannot try all the possible chicken to be in the first chamber itself, then I won't have any chicken left out to be put on the second and the third. Or it is mentioned in the problem that the number of chicken in the first should be less than the second and the third, right? So when you look at it, the maximum thing can be only by 3, even by 3 will not come, we cannot evaluate it. So in the first loop we can say only that the first chamber cannot contain more than 1/3 of the total chicken, right? And you see, this is the step value for the for loop where we say 2. Why do we say 2 was because you need to generate only odd numbers. You are starting with the odd number, so you need next also odd number, then you have to add 2, okay? And next loop, inner loop, is going to try out the value for the second chamber. When you look at the second chamber, how it should have a number of chicken more than the first one, and it should be an odd number. When you look at it, it will be first chamber plus 2. Then obviously both the conditions will be satisfied. And when you look at when I have to stop it when total chicken minus the first chamber, because already I have put it inside the first chamber, right? I have put certain number of chicken in the first chamber, so I cannot make the count of that thereafter. So total chicken minus the first chamber. Why plus 1 is, you already know that range will generate numbers up to the value stop value minus 1. So a plus 1 I have added, and once again 2 because it should generate only odd numbers. And then when you look at the third loop, you are going to get for the third chamber. So the third chamber, how it should be more than the number of chicken in the second chamber, and it should be odd number. So you say second chamber plus 2, and then how many can be their maximum? Total number of chicken minus what I have put in the first chamber minus what I have put in the second chamber plus 1, and I am going to say 2, right? Step value is 2 because only odd numbers can be there. And then what I am doing is I am checking whether the total number of chicken is equal to the total chicken. Okay, this I am checking because I am in this approach. What I am doing is I am starting from the minimal possible value of the second one. What I mean here is, let us go to the example. Here if I have put 3, 5 means I will start from 7 actually. In the first approach I will try 3, 5, 7. So 8, 15. 15 is not equal to 27. I have to actually put all the chicken into the chamber. Then I will try 9, like this it will be going on till 19. Actually this is a costlier operation. This is not the optimal solution. I am just giving you one approach. Okay, there can be multiple ways to solve a problem. So this may be a thought. It's a good thought only if you are going to stop correctly. Okay, at least we should not waste the iterations on trying value which is not at all possible, right? So I'm finding out whether the total number of chicken is equal to the total chicken and incrementing the possibilities if the condition is satisfied, and print the number of chicken each of the chamber, and if possibility is 0, print no way. What is the second approach is? In the second approach we will have only 2 loop. Okay, you are reading the total number of chicken, and then you are reading the minimum chicken that should be put on the first chamber. Possibilities is initialized to 0, and then you are going to start your loop. Okay, you are going to generate the first chamber values from minimum chick, and it has to go till only 1/3. That is already understood. And then second chamber, what you are doing is you are going to start plus 2, right? And then as usual you have to subtract this because what I have put in the first chamber will not be counted for second and third, right? So I will do this. Only 2 things are there. Then what I am doing is, as I showed you manually, I am going to find out third chamber is equal to total chicken minus first. Okay, total chick minus first chamber minus second chamber. What I have put in the first chamber I will subtract, second chamber I will subtract from total chicken, and I have to find whether third chamber is greater than second chamber. Why I should do this is the manual approach what I described. So when you are going to have this 3, 5, let us consider 27 minus 3 minus 5, this will be actually 19. Okay, this is correct. Okay, because it's 19 is greater than 3 and 5. But when you look at the next value, right, when I look at the next value 7 and then 11, okay, then when I subtract this I will get 9. I should not include 9 in my answer. I should stop also when I face this, or I have to, anyway I should not include this answer. Why? Because 9 is not greater than 11. As per the constraint, this should be greater than the second one also, right. So, we should check whether in the approach 2, you should check whether the value of the third chamber is greater than the second chamber, then only you are going to print it, otherwise you should not print it, and you increment the count of possibilities when it comes, right. And if the possibility is 0, you have to print no way. Okay, thank you.